Everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making Sopa de Zanahoria, or a creamy carrot soup that is traditional to the area of Mexico where my husband is from, Morelia, Michoacan. So without further ado, let's jump right into the ingredients. We are going to be using about half of a yellow onion, 8 carrots, some cornstarch as a thickening agent if we happen to need it. We're going to season the soup with white pepper instead of black pepper, but you can totally use black pepper if that's all you have. And instead of salt, we are going to be using nor Suiza, or powdered chicken bouillon powder. And we're going to throw in some orzo. That's my own personal touch. I think it just adds a little extra to the soup, but if you don't have it, don't worry. And lastly, we're going to be using some butter. And the veggie prep is super easy for this recipe. All you have to do is go ahead and peel all 8 of your carrots. I have this on super duper time lapse, so it'll be done nice and quick for us. And after I'm done peeling them, I will stick the garbage bag to the side, remove the tips of the carrots and the ends, and then chop them into a simple circle, like just run the knife down each carrot. I tried to aim for smaller pieces because they boil more quickly. So as I'm going, I'm just dumping them in a pot that I have filled up with water, and I will also add some sea salt to that boiling liquid. And then here we are, just dicing up our onion into a small dice, and we will keep this to the side. So we have all of our carrots here in this water. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but I did try to show you while I was doing the prep that I was putting probably about a tablespoon of Himalayan pink salt into the water, because you always want to put salt into the water that you're boiling your veggies in, or your pasta or whatever. So I'm going to bring this to a boil and simmer the carrots for about 15 minutes or until they're tender. And then I'm going to use a slotted spoon to remove them to the blender. And in order to save time of boiling water twice, and to kind of conserve water, because I'm weird like that, instead of boiling water for the pasta here, I will just take this water that's already boiling and dump it into the other pot to start boiling the pasta. So give me about 15 minutes to get these carrots nice and tender, and we will be on to the next step. This video is a little bit disorganized, but I'm filming these in real time. Like, I'm cooking these recipes for dinner for my family, and sometimes my twin baby girls rip off all their clothes, so I'm a little frazzled. I went ahead and removed our carrots to this blender, and then I transferred the liquid that I was boiling the carrots in to the other pot that we're going to use for boiling our pasta. We do not need to salt the water because we already salted it previously, so I'm just waiting for that to return to a boil. And then we're going to add the remaining ingredients to the blender. I don't know what it's called, the blender carafe, is that what that's called? So we've got that. I put whatever water was remaining after I filled up the pasta pot from there into here. And you'll see why I'm keeping this pot free in just a moment. So there's about to here of water left in there. We are going to be adding our can of carnation evaporated milk. I'm going to add, let's see if I can do this without spilling, one-handed cooking, my friends, while videotaping. We're going to start off, come on, with a teaspoon. Come on, there we go, a teaspoon of nor Suiza. We can add more in later, but as I had mentioned, this is very salty, so I don't want to add more than that to start with. And then I'm going to add about a half of a teaspoon of white pepper, maybe more towards a quarter of a teaspoon, to this pot. And then we're going to put the lid on, and we're going to blend it until it is completely smooth. But I actually just decided I'm going to add about another inch of water to make sure that they have enough liquid to puree smoothly. Sorry, my phone is also dying, so I'm dealing with a plug. Our water is boiling over here, so I'm going to go ahead and make a mess and boil our pasta. The orzo cooks for 10 minutes, so we're going to boil that for 10 minutes. Let me get this blender zipping away, and I'll be back in a jiffy. Crisis has been averted for the second time. We're not having very good luck with the girls today while I'm cooking dinner. So I have this pot back, it was dried out on a medium heat, and I'm adding maybe like a tablespoon and a half or 2 tablespoons of butter, and we're going to melt that butter so we can saute our onions in here. Excuse me, I'm still coming off of that nasty cold. So we'll let that get going. As you can see, I have pureed the carrot mixture. It is nice and smooth. It is uniform in texture. There's no chunks or anything. And it's a nice light creamy orange. And my crema de zanahoria, you will notice, is nice and orange because I use a lot of carrots. In a lot of the recipes that I watched, they had like a pale yellow soup, but I added more carrots than they did. So that's how I ended up with this color. So, and this is actually my recipe. I came up with it after watching a lot of different videos in Spanish. So this is an authentic recipe done in English for you guys. So, all right, we're gonna add our onion, which actually coincidentally is about a cup of onion, in case you were wondering. And we're just gonna let this get nice and translucent. So let me saute this and we'll be back with the next step. Okay, so these are our onions. They're looking good. I ended up adding another little whack of butter to the pan because we're going to be making a version of a roux, kind of, even though I said we weren't. But we're not doing like butter and flour and a bechamel. So I'm just going to add a tablespoon of cornstarch to the pot and go ahead and stir that up. You can actually omit this if you want. Like, I'm fine with it, the texture that it is, but my husband likes it really thick. And that didn't look like enough, so I'm going to add about a tablespoon more. Sorry, I'm not usually a measurer. I'm one of those cooks that just likes to like toss stuff in and pinch of this and a pinch of that. But for the video's sake, I'd like to try to give you guys some clarity. So, okay, there's that. And then, as you can see, I did add more nor suiza to this. It was not salty enough, so I added 2 more teaspoons of it. And then now we're going to go ahead and add our soup, which is going to splatter back to the pot. Okay, so as you can see, this cord is driving me nuts. As you can see, it's already nice and thick, but we are gonna further thicken it with that cornstarch that we put in there, and we might end up adding a little bit of water back to it. I'm actually going to take a little water and rinse out the rest of the the carrot puree that is left inside of the blender jar because we don't want to waste it. So we're just gonna make sure this is nice and mixed up and that none of the onions are burning on the bottom. And then while I rinse out this liquid and get it all drained into here, our pasta is just about done, so I will drain and rinse that, and I will be back when we put the 2 parts together. So, as you can see, I just wanted to show you the texture of this. This is super rich and creamy. I guess I would compare it to the texture of like a cream of chicken soup, so if you're making it, go for that. I did end up adding a bit more cornstarch to it because I put too much water in it from the blender. I took about another tablespoon and blended it up with some water, just like maybe a 1/4 cup of water, and drizzled it in here, and now it's perfect. So there's our soup. Here's our orzo pasta, and I am just going to hope that this doesn't splash me. It's probably going to splash me. Hang on, let me loosen it up a little bit. I'm so scared it's gonna splash me. Alright, hold that thought. Hopefully that is the last of our technical difficulties. I just went ahead and I dumped all of the orzo into the soup. I'm going to get it nice and incorporated, and then I am going to serve this with a traditional Mexican salad. Usually they serve it with like mariscos, which is like seafood. It has avocado, oranges, cucumber, lettuce, tomato, onion, and then like a little light vinaigrette that I make. I will have that video placed somewhere during the course of this video. I don't know, maybe I'll put it in the middle, maybe I'll put it in the end, I don't know. But that is the finished last step of the recipe. I will go ahead and get this plated up and we'll see how it looks. So I will quickly list the ingredients off for the little salad feature that I'm going to add into the video. This is just iceberg lettuce because in most Mexican salads that I've had, like at like Moriscos and places, this is what they use, and it's my husband's favorite. Next we have cucumber, just a regular old cucumber. We have a Roma tomato. I have a red onion. We'll probably just use about a quarter of this, and then an orange. They put oranges on them, and some avocado. And our dressing is going to be made, I don't know if this is upside down, so I'm going to show it both ways. Goya salad and vegetable seasoning, and now we'll put it this way. This is just a little packet, and I'm going to add that to this cup with the juice of 1 lime and some avocado oil. And I'm going to use my handy dandy milk frother to emulsify it, which actually I just figured out last time and it works awesome. So I am going to put the video on pause and get set up for a time lapse of making the salad. We'll start off with our vinaigrette by emptying the salad seasoning packet into a cup and squeezing the juice of 1 to 2 fresh limes into the cup. And I'll add a little bit of avocado oil, and then you just take your milk frother, or you can whisk up the dressing to emulsify it, and then stick that in the fridge. Next thing we're going to prep is our lettuce, and I'm fairly sure that you don't need my help figuring out how to take care of lettuce, but we just removed all the nasty bits, peeled the outside, and then I like to shred the lettuce. So to do so, I split the lettuce into 4 quadrants and then just slowly run the knife along the lettuce, rotating it as I go, so I don't end up with like super duper long spaghetti type shreds. It makes it easier to chew and you don't look like an animal. Go ahead and set that to side to soak in some water in the salad spinner so we can clean up our cutting board and get going with the rest of the ingredients. So we're going to go with a half moon shape theme for all of our toppings. Mexican salads are usually served with like really large chunks of fruits and veggies on the top, so that looks about right to me. We will cut the tomato into some wedges. And then just go ahead and remove both sides of the orange, cut it in half, and then mimic the half moon slice theory, if you will. That's a Cara orange, and it was so nice and rosy colored on the inside. It was beautiful. We're going to use about a quarter of this red onion, so just go ahead and slice it. Same thing, half moon shapes. And then lastly, our avocado. You only need half of the avocado. I just got a little bit crazy and started slicing the whole thing. So next, we are just going to go ahead and start assembling everything. So pop your lettuce into the bottom of your bowl, leaving room for your toppings. And then I always say it's just as important to eat with your eyes first as it is to taste the food. So I'm going to go ahead and be a little bougie and decorate my salad up here. So let me know what you think in the comments of my salad design. Everything is on the table. The girls are happy. We have our nice creamy soup served with some crackers. It's supposed to be served with oyster crackers, so I know my husband's going to be a little disappointed about that, but it'll be good. And then we've got our salad and our vinaigrette. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.